bayede nina bethongo. Sanibonani bantwana bedlozi. I send my greetings once again. It's been a while since we posted any of these messages from the years, as it were, in our travels together on this planet, So, in just picking up speed, as it were, we are coming in today. I'm sitting outside in my yard, and as I'm listening to Spirit, mangimamela bogogo nabomkhulu, mangimamela idlozi, mangimamela umkhathi, when I'm in conversations with God, as it were. Thokozani. So, uthi umuntu masekafika in one of the conversations that we are having. Now, how they theme it, or how we theme it, is to say, doing for yourself what you would do for others. Doing for yourself what you would do for others. For example, in many cases, I don't know if this is a general statement, but one of the perceptions that I've seen or I've come across, Gakul, is how we are quickly filled with a spirit of service, a spirit of accomplishing, a spirit of commitment, a spirit of that energy nje, I would like to help a person so that they find themselves in a better place. And I speak to those people who are here for service work, Thokozani. But anyway, we are all here for service work in some way or the other. We are here to serve this life in some way or the other. But moving on. So, Sitiguwe, many times we would find yourself more enthusiastic in attending to those kind of things that would require your service, so that you create a situation or a circumstance or an environment where the other person is at an advantage or an ease of some sort, So now, iti the message my figure. Ukuzenzela ngale ndlela leyo ngathi nawe ungayenzela abanye ngakhona, kodwa ukuthi wena uyazenzela. Thokozani. So we are saying to you, many times we do not, or at least we find ourselves in a space where we cannot do for ourselves, come to ourselves, or come to the table about ourselves, come to the responsibility of ourselves, like we would do in the same energy if it had to be someone external asking you for that kind of help, where now you would apply yourself in such a way that you would do everything in your humanly power to accomplish whatever goal it is that that person is requiring you for. So now the essence of this message coming through today is being able to also use the same energy, to be able to use the same spirit in doing for yourself. Now, what would perhaps another person would ask doing for yourself mean? We are obviously different ngendlela esikhula ngayo bantu benkosi. So we will not really pinpoint ukuthi umuntu kuphi empilweni, So you would want to begin where you are, How is it that you feel disempowered? How is it, or which aspects of yourself feel disempowered? And once you can begin to identify lezo zinto, and then now be of service to you. And I know for some other people, this may be very tricky because it will be almost, or it has that essence of self-serving. You know what I'm saying? In a kind of selfish kind of way. It carries those kind of connotations, but you have to understand how certain programs are also used over your heads, so that now certain things are not somewhat available to you, so that you may be able now to break certain things within wherever plane dimension that you travel in. So now we are saying to you is at that time where we are saying now, be able to use the same energy, maybe in visualization. In visualization, if you are going to envision this thing, it would be a kind of thing that says, okay, I am that other person, and I'm that other person who is coming to me, the real person, and asking for help. The question is asked, Uguti, what kind of energy do you have when that part of you is asking that kind of help from you, the real person? Tokozan. Say, for example, I Ombethe. Now, if the Ombethe speaks and asks for help from me, the real person, what kind of energy do I also approach it in terms of? Is it the same as it if it were not me? Is it the same? Is it the same in a sense of if we were to compare it now with someone else coming to you and asking for a particular assistance of some sort? Are you going to attend to that thing in the same enthusiasm or the same willingness or the same openness or the same creativeness or the same zealousness, the same energy, the same power, the same, you understand? So now we are saying now it's at those points where it is saying to you, doing for yourself that which you would also do for others. As the idiom goes, you cannot feed from an empty cup. You cannot pour from an empty cup. So you need to be filled. You need to be complete, in a sense. Because there are certain things that we must be able to also decipher, you know. Where now, for example, others may want to say the feeling of completeness can never be truly achieved. And the truth of the matter is that is true, because we are living in an eternal plane. That's why they will also say again in the idiom, change is constant. So now we are saying to you, it's at those times now where we are saying, doing for yourself like you would do for others. In other words, approaching things in the same way that you would if another person had to. And some other people may say, oh, that's a nice trick. And it is a nice trick because it becomes necessary, because some of you out there end up having to trap your own selves and you can't even get out of your own damn selves. So it means at some point you must be able to be so clear in your own mind that even when you do perform this exercise, it is not you detaching from yourself, but it is saying, getting perspective. And right now, in that same perspective, we are bringing the energy to say, if you were on the other side as another person coming to you yourself and asking for a particular help, what kind of energy are you going to come with? That is the question that is being asked. Because somewhere, somehow, I've seen how when someone has been in a jiffy, as it were, you know what I'm saying, in a situation, and how people would become very creative, how they will be able to connect networks, how they will be able to use their minds and their creative abilities and all of those kind of things. And then somewhere, somehow, it's almost like the person cannot do the same for themselves. And I know many of us who are on the spiritual path, we find ourselves in those kind of situations. Or those who have a spiritual inclination to some extent, or at some point in your evolution of time, or in time, you are going to perhaps feel that way, that you cannot do for yourself that which you are able to do for others. Now, it is not saying now approach it from a point of being selfish. You understand that Uguti now it's about self-preservation, because there's that kind of selfishness where it's about self-preservation, where everybody else does not consider everything around them. It is just about them. We are not speaking about that kind of selfish. But if it is about being selfish to an extent, or the concept of selfish, where it is about focusing on oneself, focusing in understanding oneself, focusing in understanding one's reality. Because now, if you have no grasp of your own reality, whatever it is that you are doing out there for people, whoever, in whatever degrees that they are in your life, whatever it is that you are doing will always be to some extent from a half-hearted place, if you want to put it like that. How come? Or ganjan? Because you're bringing half of yourself in that particular situation. So it's in being able to do for yourself in the same way that you would do for others. In other words, if let's say you are the kind of soul, when others do require, you feel a sense of ownership, ukuthembeka, then honor the processes also in your life. If you're the kind of soul that responds in a creative kind of manner, where in other words there is no level of blockage, there's all these possibilities, because creativity just speaks to possibility. So now you find yourself in that space where there's all these possibilities. If you are that kind of soul, the creative soul that comes to situations and circumstances, then it is also saying apply the same principles. That is what we want to bring to you today. Understand the principles that are inherent in those things, where they say your bad side also reveals your good side, and your good side also reveals your bad side. And the balanced soul is the one who is able to hold and understand these aspects of reality. But in just wrapping up, doing for yourself as you would do for others is not saying be selfish in the sense that you retract your energies from the world, but it is saying also come with the same enthusiasm, come with the same vibe, come with the same energy, come with the same inspiration to the things that you also want to accomplish about who you are, or what it is that you want to display about who you are in this world. We also say, so instead of acting whatever it is that you claim you are in the world. These are two different positions, and you want to find yourself in the correct one, as it were. So we are saying to you, we are not coming in to say, again, just come into your own space and just self-preserve. No human is an island. We are not islands. But what we are saying to you is, come to yourself. The level of self-inspiration comes from that place. The ability to self-inspire comes from that place. And when you cannot find that place anymore, this is when worry should set in, as it were. Because in other words, if you cannot inspire yourself, no one else will be able to reach you. However talented they may be, however gifted they may be, but nobody will be able to reach you if you cannot be reachable. So I'm speaking to those who find themselves in the deepest tunnel, in the deepest tunnel, because they cannot find any level of inspiration out here. And I'm speaking to deep levels of depression, and where now we have even come to adapt how we even live with that depression so that we look normal out here in this world. I'm speaking to you, Mntana kagogo. The ability to self-create. Thokozani. We are all given that ability. And that point of self-creation is at that point where you realize, or you make peace. And it may be difficult for all of us in whatever degree that we may find the spaces that don't give us peace, that we can actually say we want peace with those spaces. I hope I didn't confuse with that conundrum. I was confused now, but anyway, we were just saying hello once again. We were just saying hello, and to say these are tools. These are tools, bantwana betongo. These are tools, these are certain clues. If you listen, you will hear us. Thokoza bantwana bakagogo. We will be with you. Bayede. Ombethe.